Alright, so this is video number 3. And also, I do have one more video I came up I'm going to do. I've done a whole bunch of like assembly videos or whatnot, but I think that there's something that I could go over a little bit better that I'm going to show. I could probably make a 5-minute video out of it, but I think it's really important. And what I'm going to talk about is cylinder wear and checking with your rings. Now, I've mentioned that several times. You know, like I use my rings to tell me, well, you know, what the cylinder's looking like, whether it needs to be bored over or whatnot, besides obvious damage from scratches and whatnot. There's an engine, the K20 I'm putting together right now. Every cylinder has a wear spot right in the middle of the cylinder where it's like, wow, you look at it and it's like, oh my god, that's terrible. I'm pretty confident it's not, and I'm going to show you guys how to also check a getaway, but it works, and to see whether you can get away with that or not. Okay, so just spent the first minute to talk about that. Anyway, New Hampshire Honda Day. Now, I released my little list that apparently only 100 people watched. Nobody really gave a fuck, I guess. And it's funny that nobody gives a fuck about that, because that's what this, that's, what I'm kind of slowing down for. That's, when I talk about VHB engines now, I've always said that it's hard to keep a channel like this flowing, because most, like 99% of the questions I get are they either fall under the category of super basic, where you're being fucking lazy, go look for it yourself, or it falls under the category of I've already answered it and you're not looking through the channel. What happens is people come on this channel and they see me commenting on almost everybody's comments. So and they watch 1 or 2 videos and see that, and they immediately hit the DMs because it's easy. It's an easy thing to do. Oh, this guy's willing to respond, but I'm not doing that anymore. There's lots of people nowadays that don't get answers from me, and I'm not doing it to be a dick. It's too much, man. It's too much. My schedule is finally balanced out a little bit to where I have a little bit more free time during the day, but that little bit of free time I get extra during the day, it goes to my wife and my workouts, because now I'm back to running in the mornings again, which is great. It's helpful for me to not have to worry about doing everything at the end of the night. Okay, so fuck, this is the problem when you do shit like this tired. You kind of get sidetracked. So, about the important thing, right? The channel like this is hard to run because, eventually you start to run out of shit. Like, until some interesting shit starts happening in the community that I can talk about, or some new shit happens to me that I can talk about, there's not really much I can say, except for something like this, the trips. So, New Hampshire, Tulsa for Humble Performance, and SEMA in Las Vegas. Now, I was pretty amped about the SEMA thing, and I'm also pretty excited about the Tulsa thing. Why am I'm probably, when I started off planning these trips, I think the Tulsa one was the one I was the most excited about, because that one is guaranteed to not be able to fail. It can't fail. Like, I'm going to Humble Performance, the shop. So I'm going to find the people I'm looking for. Guaranteed. They're going to be there. All right. So that's that. And I really want to meet those guys. So I'm going to be able to go out there and see the Center of Madness myself personally. And I'm looking forward to that very much. Now, I am also looking forward to the SEMA show, but I still haven't met Jesse in person. And that makes me a little nervous, right? Because things can always change, right? So then, that really goes back to the New Hampshire trip. Now, I was originally saying that I wasn't going to go, and then Jeff's like, it's great meeting you. You should come out there. I'm like, yeah, dude, because we were talking about that there. I was like, so New Hampshire, that's where the Cylinder Support System's at. I definitely wouldn't mind, seeing some shit like that. So that'd be cool if it's possible or whatnot. I'm not rude, so I'm not going to press that, but it'd be cool to see. But anyway, he's like, yeah, you should come out there because Jesse's going to come for sure on that one, and you can meet Jesse. And I really want to meet Jesse, and I would also very much like to meet Jesse before the whole Vegas trip thing. So I'm like, yeah, okay, man, I definitely want to come out there for that. So, but it's still nervous about that trip because, New Hampshire and Honda Day again, and if it were to fail for any reason, it would suck, man. That's time and money spent is wasted. Now, the money isn't that big a deal, but the time always is, right? So I was nervous about it, but I was like, okay, and Jeff seems pretty enthusiastic about it, and I really I really enjoyed talking to him, so I'm definitely looking forward to talking to him again. So I'm like, yeah, this is something that's doable for that, even just for that experience alone, right? So in Jeff I trust. I'm like, all right, man, I'm gonna come. But like I mentioned before, I know people in every one of these areas I'm going to. Thanks to YouTube, I actually, and I'm not just saying I've had casual one-off conversations and I'm going to hit these people up. I mean, these are people that I know in the area that have met me through YouTube that I talk to on a regular basis. In Vegas, it's been Charles. He hit me up. I think we've been friends for over a year now, and we talk pretty frequently, and he's out in Vegas, so I'm like, cool. I go to Vegas, and then not only am I going to Vegas, but I have somebody who lives in the area that I've been in frequent contact with that I can help get around if not whatnot. Plus, he happens to drive a taxi, so who the fuck knows the city better than that? So yeah, that's pretty cool. Now I'm thinking about the New England area. I'm like, I know people up there, and I started thinking about it. And Maurice is one guy that I've been talking to, I think, since the beginning of the year, or maybe the end of last year. I know he lives out in the area, so that's one person to possibly meet. And then the guy that makes this trip the most exciting is Brian Rossi. All right. Now, name probably rings no bells for any of you guys, but it turns out to be one of the coolest dudes I've met through the YouTube thing. So turns out that one of my old videos I was talking about some shit, I was ranting about some things, and I happened to make a comparison to MMA. And I think in the video I was talking about how when I get obsessed about something, when I really enjoy something, I really get obsessed, I fucking really dig into it, and I have to learn as much about it as I possibly can. And that was, the shit when I finally got into the UFC, like for real made the commitment to start watching. I got obsessed with it, I fell in love with it, and I started doing all kinds of research and digging into the past fights and whatnot, and got obsessive about it. And then, so Brian DMs me and starts talking to me, and then we wound up becoming actual friends on my actual Facebook and talking some more. And it turns out that Brian used to fight pro, I think in lightweight, in the New England area. He, because there's the pro. When people think pro MMA, they think, if you know anything about it, you think Bellator, PFL, UFC, but there are other pro organizations. They're just not as big as the UFC. You can't have pro fights outside of the big organizations. They just don't get as much shine. So he fought in a New England pro regional area, right? Or New England area regional pro MMA. And the guy was actually on the verge of winning a title, man. So that was pretty cool. And then, I've seen some of his fights. He was able to link me, and that was also really cool. So I was geeking out a little bit. I'm talking to a fucking fighter. I think Brian stopped fighting about a year or so back. And I'm not going to get into his personal reasons for why he did it, but the cool shit is New England actually has a pretty cool pocket of, famous and popular fighters that are living out there. If you are up to date with the UFC or whatnot, Calvin Cater, he's a featherweight that I think he's in the top 15 now. He's gone out there and got some impressive wins. He's also from out there in the area. Rob Font, who he did have his last fight was a loss, but he was actually fighting like a big name. It was very recently. I can't remember who he was fighting. I don't want to say because I don't want to misquote, but I think I remember who it was. So Rob Font also just recently fought, and he's from out there. And then there's a crazy little motherfucker, Kyle Bokniak, who's also from out there in the area. And so start talking to Brian, because I was like, okay, so I remember, and Maurice and Brian both live in the New England area, so let me also reach out to them, let them know that I'm thinking about coming out there. And so at first, it was like, okay, that'd be cool if you come out, definitely come and shit like that. And then Brian, this morning, I had absolutely no plans on buying tickets right now. I was actually planning to wait another 3 weeks before I bought tickets. But I started talking to Brian this morning, and the dude got me so fucking hyped up. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to buy my ticket right now. So that's why I did. You see it posted everywhere. So the reason why I'm talking about that this could potentially be fucking even better than the last Honda Day is because Jesse and Jeff will both be at this Honda Day. I expect and hope to be spending a little bit more time with them this time around, and I'm very much looking forward to meeting Jesse in person. So there's going to be that. That's going to be fucking awesome, because I already know Jeff's a great dude, and I already know Jeff is somebody I can vibe with and talk to. So that's great. I'm going into this knowing that I know this guy already, and now I'm going to be able to get to know Jesse. And I've talked to Jesse a lot on social media throughout the past year or so. So, I mean, we don't talk every day or whatnot, but we've talked enough where I feel comfortable talking to the guy. So, I already have an expectation of what I'm going to be meeting, and I think that that's going to be cool too. Plus, Jesse's the kind of guy, he's very well traveled, and I'm sure that there's going to be all kinds of stories to hear there. Plus, on top of this, the reason why I'm also really excited to meet him early is because once we meet in New Hampshire, we can talk a little bit more about SEMA, so we can get a little bit more coordinated there, and I can make sure that that's 100% a go. Once then the Vegas trip is 100% locked in. The Vegas trip is at a specific time because the SEMA, of course, happens at a specific time. The Tulsa trip isn't at a specific time. It's whenever the fuck I can make time to get out there. I believe the best time to go, because SEMA is happening at the end of the year and the summer's already kind of covered, and I have to give my family some vacation time, a family vacation. So I figure I'm going to West Virginia at the very end of May, and a week after I come back from that, I'm going to New Hampshire in June, and then I figure in July I will make my trip with my family, and then August will be Tulsa, and then September, October, November I'll be going to SEMA if everything goes well. So to get back to what I was saying about the New England area and fights and whatnot, so apparently there's a fight going down on Saturday night when I'm going to be up there. So I'm like, because I know the history, or because I know what to expect this time going to Honda Day, I know that Saturday isn't going to be the day that's going to be the most poppin'. It's going to be Sunday. So now, depending on what Jesse and Jeff are going to do, is depending on how early we leave. But I would imagine that even if we do spend time together on the first day, that I'll still have plenty of time to get to this fucking fight. So I'm going to be going up there. I'm going to meet Brian, who's an actual fighter himself, and is actually a cool dude. I spent some good amount of time talking to, and I'm going to get to go to a fight. And then he's also even talking about going to like the local gym that he used to train at or whatnot. So that's cool as fuck. I get to go to a gym, maybe even see some training in action. Going to see some fights. And hang out with some people that I know through YouTube. So I'm getting to meet more people that I've met, the subscribers or whatnot. So it's that, what my two things are, fighting and cars. So I'm going to be able to have two of the things I love in the same weekend. So I'm really fucking excited for it now. I'm very much looking forward to it. Yeah. And, so guys, like I'm saying, maybe you caught the end of the other video. I'm pretty sure I was talking about it, where I'm saying that, things just, a channel like this is kind of hard to maintain, because a lot of the questions I get, most of the answers and most of the videos I make are responses to questions I get. But now 99% of the questions I get are either really lazy questions that are basic that you can search for yourself on Google, or they're questions or the questions I've already answered, I've already made videos for, so I can't make another video for it again. So it's kind of hard to keep content flowing. But I think you guys can see through Instagram that since on a day that I've really picked up my work and my workload. I'm really focused on trying to get shit done again. I even bought an engine the other day, and I haven't bought parts in the entire year. So I bought the fucking K24. So I'm going to be aiming at finishing some engines and finishing some builds. I'm still going to be putting the RSX, the black. I know I got the silver RSX, but part of that deal was a trade, and I'm gonna give my heat. It doesn't have a cherry picker, so I'm gonna still drop the swap in the RSX for him, and he's gonna do the rest. So I still have to do that, and I want to put the focus back on my Integra again. I've been saying that, but at this point, I'm also completely fine with paying somebody, if I can just find the right person that I know that I can trust to come out and deal with the issue of getting the goddamn crank no start passed and actually getting the fuel pump to prime and getting the car turned on. So yeah, I really want to get that done. I really want that car to run, even if it's not tuned. I really want that car to turn on and run before I go to Honda Day, and that's a month away. So there's no reason why that shouldn't be possible. There's a couple people I have in mind. One person I have in mind that might have the free time to come and check at it, and so I might be hitting him up here pretty soon to get it to see if we can get that done, because I have a lot of shit to focus on, man. And if I can have somebody go out there and figure that out real quick and get that car turned on, then that means that if the car turns on and runs, then I can refocus my attention to finishing the rest of the shell to make it tunable. I need to put the rest of the turbo kit on, which won't be a big deal. And then I need to finish up the brake lines, which also won't be a big deal. So I can actually take it to the dyno. So yeah, I'm pretty motivated, and I'm gonna be focusing more on work. And like I said, like before a long time ago, it's just filming me building engines all the time. I've done it so many times, it's kind of hard to do a walkthrough. So I think what I might do is I might just kind of do what I did for that video the other day, the Diamond in the Rough. I think I might just make little vlogs while I'm working on engines. I just need to make sure I free up enough space where I can work on it, and then I'll have to grit my teeth and actually put some clothes on to film. which sucks because it's hot back here. The AC doesn't work too well. This part of my place isn't insulated, so yeah, it stays hot back here, and that's why I like to stay half naked. But anyway, yeah, I think that, so what you can expect more in the future, if you're not, most of my subscribers I think are here for the older shit to answer questions. I don't think most of you guys are here watching daily, but for those of you guys that are not daily, because I don't upload daily, but watching as I upload. But for those of you guys that are watching from upload to upload, who are all caught up or whatnot, what you can expect to see more of is just me doing engine build vlogs. Like, I'm going to talk about stuff kind of similar to along the lines of what I used to do back in the day, where I would build an engine and I would stop and talk about it, and I didn't actually do a walkthrough because I was nervous to do so. I didn't want to be ridiculed for what I was doing. So I'm going to do something more like that, but it's going to be one take. So the videos, you can expect them to be probably like 15-20 minutes long, and it's just going to be me working and talking at the same time. I don't know exactly when I'm going to start that, but I would like to start that in the near future. I got the finishing touches I need to do for Raw's B18 setup, and then I ordered pistons for the B20, so I'm expecting those to come anytime soon. And then, you know, so once the pistons come in, take the pistons to the machine shop, they get them swapped over, and then I can assemble the block for Edgar. So I've got Edgar's block to do. I've got the B18 to finish up, which isn't really going to be much. I think the most extensive thing I have to do for that to finish it is just the head, and then the K20 I'm doing that I'm almost done with. Honestly, I just need to put the pistons and rods in. So I'm gonna make that one video about that, and I have this because I was gonna swap the pistons over tonight, but I'm fucking exhausted, and my son's out of school tomorrow, and I have an opportunity to sleep until I need to wake up. So I'm probably just gonna crash right after I finish uploading these fucking videos. But anyway, guys, I think the last part of the shit I wanted to add to it, you know, I'm trying to keep my thoughts focused here, is like, you know, me saying that what you're going to see is going to be just like vlogs while I'm building. I mentioned several times before that I will never stop doing YouTube videos because I enjoy doing this, especially when I find something exciting to talk about. But it will slow down from time to time. This is going to be one of those times. The rest of my year is booked for flights to meet people. Right now, I hope to Christ that I'm in the phase of transitioning towards what I really want, and I hope in the next couple of years VHB engines will be a legit business. That's what I want. So trying to meet as many people in the industry as I can. Plus, you know, just for networking, you know, opportunities to meet more people is great. Plus, you know, to see firsthand what they're doing, you know, to get little tips for myself to what, you know, to what to try and build, or also to attempt to do. I do want to focus on more about getting some of my engines out there, getting more people running them, but it just seems to be like I build an engine for somebody, especially if it's built for boost, that it takes a long time for them to finish it. And I can't ridicule that because you know, look how long it takes me to do my projects. That's why I've always tried to rely on other people to get my work out there, because for me to do an engine and do it for myself, it just takes a long time. I'm always looking on to the next engine to build, the next project to do for somebody else. Look at the single cam. I think the single cam got done in like December or January, and I've got no word back on that yet. It's April, the end of April. So I don't know, guys. I am trying to get this to the point where it's an actual thing. You know, God willing. Hopefully, by the time I'm 40, VHB engines will be an actual shop list somewhere, you know, a shop we can go to. And like I've preached about for the past 2 years, I want to be able to sell parts. I want to be an engine parts depot. I'm not trying to compete with like the big guys who sell everything. I just want to specialize in engines. So that way, when you guys come to me and like, hey, I want to buy pistons, I can provide that for you. Or, hey, I want to buy rods, I can provide that for you. I want to buy gaskets, I can provide that for you. Like, you come to me and you want kits, I can have that. Like, hey, I want to build an engine, give me what I need for this. Like, what my eventual goal would be that if you're like, hey, I want to build an engine for this much horsepower, what do I need to do? Because that's the question I get the most. Like, what parts do I need for this much power? And then I can be like, I have a kit. You know, I'll have it preset. So you tell me how much power you're trying to make on one engine, and I can scoop up that kit and be like, this is what you get. And then I'll have like multiple versions of that kit. Like, this is the budget friendly, and this is the, you know, the more fucking higher quality, but all of it should still fall under that same, you know, same horsepower rating or whatnot. So, you know, that's what I would love to do. I would love to be able to provide stuff like that. Like, and you know, I could provide you a block. Like, you need a block, here you go. I got a block for you. I have blocks that are standard bore. I have blocks that are bored over, you know. Hopefully, maybe even one day, possibly CSS blocks sit on the side. You know, I would like to be able to do that, you know, and I think I can eventually. I just pay for the CSS. I mean, of course, I wouldn't be making any more real money on it, but it would be cool to have that on the side. So, plus I think that for parts like that, like a parts warehouse, it wouldn't be as hard to find a place to rent for zoning, because when you're telling somebody that you're building engines, they're like, oh my God, coolant oil, and it's hard to find a place like that, especially in this area. But if I do, you know, say I'm just a parts warehouse, then it shouldn't be that big a deal. And I wouldn't even have to do anything shady. I just keep my engine building at the house, and when the engine's done and complete, I can just take the complete engine to my warehouse. Oh man, see this? That's what I want, man. That's what I want eventually someday. I really don't want to push my engines out there to be the main goal, but I would like to be able to have parts to get to you guys, because I get questions all the time about what parts to use for what builds or what engines or whatnot, and I would love to just be able to have that provided. Hopefully one day. That is the goal. So this year I'm going to keep my nose to the ground, and I'm just going to, you know, meet as many people as possible, and just, you know, expand on my knowledge through through what others are doing and for how long they're doing it, and just learn, you know, just like, you know, you learn how to, you know, learn the things that people are doing with engines. And, you know, learn how to fucking make a successful business, because I don't want to just throw something together that's going to fail. I want it to be a real thing. So, dealing with people who have done this already, you know, been in the industry for years, making successful businesses, I would like to learn from these people. These guys are inspirational, just like Luke and the guys at 4-Piston are inspirational for the things they're doing with their engine heads. All right, so yeah, I think I've ranted a little bit too long on this. I've gone long enough, so I'm going to end it. And just know that you guys, that I'm still here, I'm still available. And for you new people that are asking questions and not getting answered, I'm really sorry, but you know, I work just like every one of you guys do. And when I'm not at my real job, I'm usually here doing something with engines, man. My days start at 11 o'clock in the morning, and they usually don't finish till 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'm always busy with something, and I'm trying to keep myself busy. So for me to stop and get stuck in a conversation trying to explain to you something that I've already talked about a million times, I can't do it anymore, guys. So all right, so I'm sorry about that. And so thanks for watching, and for those of you guys that have stuck around and managed to not be confused about my ramblings. And peace. See y'all later.